Establish three broad guidelines which would be used as basic principles by the self-regulatory organizations to determine which one of the real money games can be determined to be a permissible online real money game versus a non-permissible one.
But just for clarity and for the benefit of our viewers, the mere aspect of there being a payment element does not bar a game altogether.
Absolutely. Real money games don't mean that they are not permissible. Real money games which involve wagering on the outcome of that game, regardless of whether that game is a game of skill or game of chance, when it involves money, there is no problem if it only involves money. But the moment it involves money and is a real money game, but involves wagering on the outcome of the game, then that is a no-go area for the Indian internet.
So another key aspect that you pointed out was the SROs, the function of deciding which games are permissible and which aren't. And that function has been delegated to the SROs. Can you tell us about the number of SROs that we're looking at, the composition of the SROs, how will they go about it?
Yeah, look, this is, first of all, you are aware that the whole online gaming space is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for Indian startups and young Indians all over the country. And so therefore our whole objective is not to be policing the online gaming, but certainly to regulate one small sliver of it. And we want the online gaming ecosystem to grow rapidly to being a multi-billion-dollar ecosystem over the next coming years. But very clearly, it is also clear from the industry and indeed all stakeholders that they don't want government too deeply involved in this innovation ecosystem, and that has been the direction from our Honorable PM as well. So we have created these institutions called the SROs, which will be built around the stakeholders of the gaming industry, including but not limited to industry, and they will be based on the principles that the government has laid down on permissibility of non-wagering, user harm and addictive behavior of games. Using those basic principles, they will create the capability and capacity to be able to scrutinize online gaming and certify them.
One final question, sir, on the issue of the government barring wagering and betting in all shapes and forms as far as these rules are concerned. We've also seen very specific legislations by individual states. There has been an apprehension expressed that perhaps this may build in redundancies in law where gambling is being barred by different legislation.
Look, whenever there is a state that is doing this in the interest of being right, which is basically they want to prohibit betting, these online gaming rules today are completely consistent with that. But if there are some states or some jurisdictions that are trying to slice and dice wagering into other slivers and are doing so for vested interests, certainly they will come in conflict with these rules. We are very clear. We do not want the Indian internet to have something as harmful as betting, whether they are foreign platforms or Indian platforms. We have also made sure through the rules that there will be no surrogate advertising or any kind of indirect presence of these betting platforms on the Indian internet. And the IT Act and the rules are what regulate the Indian internet. And so we have the rules today.
So one question on misinformation, that's the big takeaway as far as the IT rules, of course, are concerned. Just a word in terms of what the implications could be in terms of intermediaries and how will this fact checker be notified? These are the two aspects that the industry is hoping for.
Yeah, so I think today's PIB fact checking inclusion in the rules is a continuation of what we did in October 2022, where we put down a very clear rule under 31B5, where misinformation and patently false information, it is an obligation of the intermediary to not host that type of content. And so today what we have said is to help those intermediaries who say, how do we determine what is patently false or what is misinformation? What do we do? How do we do this? We have said in the context of government information, there will be this fact-checking unit that will tell you what is right and wrong. And it's certainly up to you to go by their fact-check. And if you choose not to do so, then those who are aggrieved by the false information or the fake information will certainly have the right to pursue their case in the court of law.
Thank you so much for joining us on CNBC-TV18.
Well, that is the Minister of State for Information Technology, Rajeev Chandrasekhar, in conversation with Ashmit Kumar, our colleague who's there. Let me very quickly get wrap-up comments from our guests who have been listening in.